Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for this new video around my campaign Operation Dark Winter. This video is a bit special. I'm going not to do a mission briefing, neither a battle report. This video will be focused on introducing a new rule, a new set of rules, which is about the base building part of this whole campaign. So in my campaign, when models are not deployed in a mission, they are resting in their base of operation. And this supplement introduces various new rules regarding gathering resources while on mission to allow me to construct different base extensions. In that base, they create different rooms that will grant me specific bonuses. I'm also introducing some new rules to recruit civilians that will work on these rooms. And yeah, it's a big supplement that introduces quite a lot of things, so I wanted to have a dedicated video for that. So first, let's have a quick look at the different rules. And first I want to also thank you, the three people that helped me a lot to create those rules, Jay Rombons, Eric Sean and Ulysse Lenné. Those three guys really helped me, and I'm really looking for some feedback for you guys if you manage to get started with this campaign. So the first thing in the mission is the gathering of resources. When you are in the base of operation, when you want to build an extension, every extension needs some specific resources. And in the game I have 6 different resources that you can gather on every mission. You can find those resources on civilian vehicles, on store shelves, in houses or apartments. And when you are in base contact with one of those objects that can be looted, you will simply roll a black dice and a white dice and refer to this table over here. So there is a chance that you find nothing, but there is also a chance to find something. So this is the table for the standard campaign mission. We have 50 campaign missions that we are going to do with this Operation Dark Winter campaign. But if I'm low on resources, I can do what I call supply run. Supply run, basically it's a mission that is happening in a district that has already been cleared, and it's basically just a mission to gather resources. Enemy are still present on the board, but there is not any major objective. The objective is just to gather resources and to extract with it. Here is a quick look at the 6 different resources. I'm just going to walk you quickly through all of them, but everything that I'm showing here, from the rule set to the world map to also the base of operation layout that I will show after that, everything can be found in the link in the description, and everything is available for everyone. So here is all the resources. We start with the food. The food is the most important resource because I need to have some food to feed the people I will send in mission and to feed the people that will work in my base. If I don't have any food, no one will be able to work in the base, and people that will go out in mission will start with 2 points. They will lose 2 points in each of their statistics at the beginning of the mission. So it's really important to find a lot of food, especially at the beginning of the campaign. Then there is the fuel. The fuel will be helpful later on when I will unlock this rule, when I will unlock the vehicles. The vehicles allow me to choose the point of entry on the board, but I didn't unlock them yet. And depending on the type of vehicle, it will require more or less fuel. For example, a simple police car can hold up 3 models and only cost 1 fuel, but Humvees, like military vehicles, can hold up 5 models, but it requires 2 fuel. Then we have the ammo. The ammo, you can imagine that as a stockpile of ammo. One stockpile of ammo is used at every mission, and if I don't have one ammo resources when my model will go on mission, they will start with less ammo in their magazine. And yeah, it's basically what I've introduced in the latest battle report with the reload mechanic. Every weapon starts with a set number of ammo token in the magazine, and here we'll just remove some ammo token in the magazine at the start of the game. After that, we have the building material. Is the most important resource, the most common resource when you want to build room extension in the base. After that we have medicine. Medicine can be really useful to speed up the recovery process of injured models. And also the intels is a really cool one. It allows various different things. For 2 intels that you can spend while setting up a mission, you can just remove some of the hidden objectives to narrow down the position of the main objective of that mission. Also for 2 intel, while you are in a mission, you can reveal 1 hidden token present on the board. For 3 intel, you can, while on mission, when you draw an enemy level 1 card, you can just discard it and don't place the enemy group there, but it costs 3 intel. For 4 intel, you can do the same thing but with an enemy level 2 or 3 card. And for 5 intels, at the beginning of the mission, before deploying your forces, you can reveal all the hidden tokens. So that might be really helpful, but it costs a lot of intels. Also, quick note, the resource carrying, any model can carry resources based on their agility. So if a model has an agility of 2, it can carry up to 2 resources on it. And I will basically, once I will be on the board, I will simply place some token to represent the resources on the character card of each of my characters to keep track of who is carrying what. And now let's have a look actually at the base of operation. So here is our base of operation. Our base of operation is unlocked at the end of the first mission, where our agent of the division reach the base and unlock access to multiple GTF models, GTF forces. The base by default can accommodate up to 20 people. If I want to have more people in my force, it also includes civilians. If I want to have more people, I will need to upgrade my base with a specific room extension. Here it's said that it can be GTF model, GTF soldier is the guy that I'm using on mission, but we also have some civilian. The civilian are some people I can find while on mission. And if I enter a 2-inch radius of those civilians, I can pass a command test, and if I succeed that command test, I can take control of that civilian and bring him to my base of operation. Once he will be in my base, I will be able to affect him to specific room that I have to build first, so they can work and get the effect of that specific room. We'll see that in a moment. So the base of operation is divided in 3 main wings. For example, here we have the technical wing. The technical wing is unlocked when ending the Prospect Height mission, which we didn't unlock yet. If I zoom out a bit and zoom back in over here, we have the security wing. The security wing, same thing here. The 3 wings are unlocked doing a specific mission on the board, and this one is done after completing the Boerum Hill mission that will grant access to a specific character. Finally, the last wing is the medical wing, and this one we already unlocked it when we did the Fort Greene mission where we saved Dr. Jessica Kendall. So this medical wing is already unlocked, and I can start to have a look at the different extensions that I have in that wing. When we unlock that wing, we unlock access to the surgeon, Dr. Jessica Kendall, that divide by 2 the recovery time, but only for 1 single model. If I have multiple models that are injured, I will need to build the medical bay to allow me to heal any number of GTF models at the same time faster. Another extension here, for example, is the hazmat unit. When I will build this this extension, I will be able to craft gas mask for a specific set of resources again. And the last one is the virus lab. The virus lab actually is also really important. In my campaign, this is a board that tracks all the character deployed on mission, but also the mission I did and the status of it. And every mission can be either a major victory, a minor victory, or a defeat. Major victory grant 10 points, minor victory grant 5 points, and defeat grant 0 points. There are 50 missions in the campaign, and the goal of the campaign is to reach at least 400 points for the campaign to be a full victory. So as you can see here, right now on the 5 missions we already did, there are already 2 missions that I got a minor victory. So this doesn't look much, but it's already not that great. And what the virus lab allow me, it allow me when someone will be working in that room, it will allow me to gain 1 victory point at every turn. So for example, if I create that virus lab at turn, let's say turn, when I'm saying turn it's like mission. If I'm building that extension when I will be at mission 10, I still have 40 missions to do, so I will have basically plus 40 victory points at the end of the campaign. So it's quite a lot of points, so it's definitely something to keep in mind. And then after that, every room can unlock access to some other room. So for example, here this row of room are the crafting rooms. So we have the hazmat unit that build the gas mask. We have the sterilization station that build a trauma kit, and then we have the laboratory that build a steam shot. And up here, after we've unlocked the medical bay, we have the pharmacy that will grant me 3 different medical items, and we have the intensive care that allow me to use some medicine to heal my model faster. So that's it for the medical wing. Now let's have a look at the technical wing. So again, the technical wing is unlocked when doing the Prospect Night mission. If I just look at the map really quickly, the Prospect Night mission is over here, and the goal is to disrupt an arms deal. It will unlock access to the technical wing and grant me a new cool rule as well. When we unlock the technical wing, we first unlock access to the food supply line. So basically here we'll be able to build a kitchen. A kitchen will produce 2 food per day, but again someone will need to be affected to that room, and it's what this orange circle mean. This is the place, this is a spot where I can place down a civilian for him to work in that specific room. So the kitchen, it will produce 2 food per day, and that's really good because every food can feed up 3 people. So for example, if I want to send 6 models on a mission, I will just need to have 2 food for those 6. After that, I will still need some more food for the people, for the civilian that will be working in the base. But yeah, this will be a solid income of food when I will build that. And actually, it's probably what I will focus on first in that campaign, is to try to build that kitchen as soon as possible. It will allow me to also build the rain collector that again produce some food that doesn't require anyone. And then after that we have the garden that keep producing more food. Then we have the sleeping quarter. It raised the total capacity of the base of operation to 30 people, and the extra bed that raised that to 50 people. After that we have the workshop. The workshop, it allows you to craft a radio. Then we have here the sewing station that allows you to craft body armor, and the workbench that allows you to craft some smoke grenade. And up here we have 2 really cool extensions. We have the black market that allow you to sold unused card. So for example, if I have some standard card that I don't use in my campaign that I don't really like, I can sold them for 1 resources, superior card 2 resources, and high-end card 3 resources. And the trade center allow me to exchange 2 resources I have against 1 resource of my choice. So if I'm low on food, I can just, for example, sell some ammo or sell some intels to retrieve some more food. So that's it for the technical wing. Now let's have a look at the security wing. The security wing is unlocked when doing the Boirom Hill mission. What does this wing allow us to do? So first it unlocks the briefing room. So that's a pretty cool one. At the start of a mission, I can move up to 2 tokens that are present on adjacent tile where I will be deployed. So I can move them anywhere on the board. So I can just basically clear some space where I will deploy my models. So I have less chance to being spotted right at the start of the mission. Then we have the radio station. When someone will be working in that room, on a 5+, I will roll a die at every mission, and on a 5+, I will gain 1 new GTF model. Then we have the training room. Here I can place some specific GTF soldier to train them to gain some statistic point. So for example, if I want, let's say one model, I want to raise his defense statistic, it will cost me medicine, and it will cost me a number of medicine based on the stat I want to raise. So for example, if he already have 1 point in his defense stat, and if I want to reach level 2, I will need to spend 2 medicine to raise that statistic up to level 2. So that's the training room. Then we have the control room. The control room, when rolling on the loot table, if I have someone working on the control room, instead of selecting the loot found on the roll, let me find back my table. So for example here, let's say I rolled a double 4, so normally it should be a building material, but if I've built the control room, I can choose I can choose one adjacent square. So for example, it should be the building material if I roll a 4 and a 4, but I can choose an ammo, a food, or a medicine. So I can choose any of those adjacent tiles instead of the one I've rolled. Next up here we have the Dark Zone Operational Center. It grants me access to the Dark Zone. We'll see that later in the campaign. And we have the Drone Control Station that will grant me a solid income of intel throughout the campaign. Next up we have the procurement team. When one civilian is affected to that room, so it's basically a team that went out to gather loot. If one civilian is affected to that room, I can draw one standard card at the end of each mission. If it's 2 civilian, I can draw one superior card, and if it's 3 civilian, I can draw one high-end card. Then we have the supply line. So here I can basically, if someone is working in that room, I can ask for a supply drop to be sent in the next mission, and it will appear at D6 turn on the board. It will enemy placement token will move toward that drop and will try to loot it, and if I get there before, I can gain some really cool loot. And here we have the crafting lane. So in the crafting lane we have the crafting station that allow me to build pipe bomb. We have the armory, that will be a really cool one, that will allow me to build improvised silencer. So that will be also really important, especially now at the beginning of the campaign, since I don't have a lot of silence weapon. And we have the metal workstation that allow me to craft some shields. And that's pretty much it for for this extension, the base building extension. And just so you understand how I'm going to work, when I will encounter some civilian, if I manage to pass a command test and if they join my forces, I will basically just select my civilian and place them over here, and in each mission briefing I will simply select my civilian and place them in the room I want them to be working on. So as simple as that, I will just place them in, and when a civilian is placed on a room, it will grant me the bonuses of that specific room. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you everyone for joining me for this video, and I will see you for the next video, hopefully pretty soon now that this supplement is done, and it will be the mission briefing for mission number 6. Thank you everyone, and see you soon. Bye bye.